Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Stephanie and together with my friend Danielle, we clean homes for free. Today's video is going to be slightly different, and those of you that have followed us for a while will probably have guessed that by the thumbnail caption and title of this video, and by the fact that Danielle is not with me in this voiceover. And I will get into a lot of that later on. I did mention previously in a video a couple of months ago that I had quite a difficult childhood, and some things have happened in the past week or two that have led me to the decision to talk a little bit about that today. And so if you are just here for the cleaning video, you might want to skip this one. It's not very satisfying to watch. This is more about the voiceover. The actual cleaning video itself that I'm talking over was recorded a couple months ago as well. It's one of those ones that we have had in reserve because it was just a bit of organisation and the resident does not want any of their story shared at all. So I had been holding it back to use for my own story. So this voiceover might be a little bit all over the place because I don't have a script and I have kind of gone over in my head several times how I was going to approach this voiceover, but my thoughts are a bit jumbled, so it is a little bit all over the place, so bear with me. And if you are sticking around to listen to my story and another story that I have to tell, then thank you so much. I really do appreciate the support. There will be some topics covered in this voiceover that can be quite upsetting and some upsetting themes that are not so nice. And so on this occasion, I have put some trigger warnings in the description below. Please go and read those before you continue to watch this video because I don't want to upset anybody. I don't even know if this video will be allowed to be monetized because of the themes that we will be talking about today, but monetization is obviously not why I'm doing this. So I'm just gonna kind of jump into it, I guess. So originally I had obviously said like some things happened to me as a child. I didn't have the best upbringing, and I have made the decision to not cover a lot of that because I do have younger family members who might be affected by those things that I would talk about. And I also, my parents are still alive and I would not want to cause any upset to them either. What I will say in regards to like that side of thing and my family life in childhood is that my mum was a closet alcoholic growing up, and my dad, who I only lived with very briefly, my dad is a heroin addict. So I have seen all sides of addiction. And yeah, I'm the oldest of 7 children. I'm the oldest of 5 on my mum's side, and then I have 2 siblings on my dad's side as well. And some of my siblings have gone down those routes, following in our parents' footsteps, and some have not. And my youngest brother is the same age as my oldest daughter. He's slightly older, and for that reason I am not going to talk anymore about my family life. But the things that have happened this past week have not been about that. They have been about something else that happened to me as a child. And yeah, so I think the easiest way for me to do this is to read an article about it because it did go to court. And so honestly, skip this section if you feel like you may be triggered. It does talk about child abuse of the worst kind. So yeah, I'm going to read out the article and then I'm going to kind of talk about why I am talking about this right now. And yeah, I'll read the article and then it'll kind of make a little bit more sense. So this was the original story, and this was written a few years ago. So I'm just going to read it out. Pervert who sexually abused 2 young girls is jailed for 16 years. Simon Dunn of Hadston in Northumberland was found guilty of a series of sexual assaults which left the victims traumatised. A pervert who subjected 2 young girls to sex attacks has been jailed for 16 years. Simon Dunn molested the victims when they were aged between 11 and 13, leaving them traumatised. The 49-year-old denied a series of sexual assaults but was found guilty by a jury at Newcastle Crown Court. As Dunn of the precinct Hadston, Northumberland, was jailed, statements from both victims outlining the impact of the offences were read out in court. One of them said, "When I reported it to the police, I felt sick and disgusting. This is one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. I felt worthless because no one was going to believe me. I was so anxious because I thought they would get away with it, but I felt relieved when they were charged." Referring to giving evidence at the trial, she said, "I was made to feel like I was a liar and as if I had made things up. I felt worthless and not believed, and that I had failed everyone after giving evidence. I self-harmed to relieve the pain and anger, but it didn't work." On finding out her abuser had been convicted, she added, "I felt free and happy. I never gave up and I got justice." The other victim, and this is not reading from the script right now, but just to make clear that this is me. I am the other victim, although I wouldn't use the term victim. I would use the term survivor. But going back to the article, the other victim said, "For years, I lived in denial and avoidance. I have had to face some hard truths about myself. Since this has all been dragged out in the open, I've had a mental breakdown and I've had panic attacks. I sometimes feel I've seen him and it brings on so many emotions I can't put into words. Years later, I'm still remembering things that happened so long ago. I don't know why he did that to me." Dunn was found guilty of 13 sexual assaults. He was sentenced to 16 years in prison plus an additional year on licence and must sign the sex offenders register indefinitely. Judge Edward Bindloss told him, "Your offending against both of these girls at such an impressionable age has had a significant emotional and psychological impact on both of them." Elizabeth Muir for Simon Dunn, who has had no other convictions, said, "He still doesn't accept the findings of the jury, as is often the case, but understands he must accept the findings of the jury. He is a man with significant health problems and his relationship with his wife has completely broken down, which he is finding it extremely difficult to come to terms with." Miss Muir added, "He has lost everything as a result of his conviction, but he has to accept the effect his behaviour would have had on both of these girls." So that was the article, and as I mentioned, I was one of those girls. And the guy was my best friend's dad. And I'm only sharing this now about my friend at the time because she, which I didn't realise, but she did come out a few years after the court case with an article and basically explained that she was one of the victims. It was her dad. And so I'm not throwing her under the bus here. Like, it is public knowledge. People do know that unfortunately she was one of the children. And the reason that I am bringing this up now is obviously I am going to be 32 in a couple of weeks. And so this happened between the ages of 11 and 13 for me. And it didn't actually go to court until 2019 when he was convicted for that amount of time. However, I found out this week that he died in prison last year, and it's just brought up a lot of emotions. But as upsetting as that is for me, the reason that I am making this video is actually for my friend. So I am still in contact with my friend, and obviously that was her biological dad, and so that has thrown up a lot of emotions, as she also just found out this week. However, that isn't even the reason that I'm doing this. So before we found this out, I had messaged her earlier on in the week because, as horrible as everything was that we went through, life just keeps kicking her down. Sorry, it's a little bit emotional. So she has a beautiful little family. She's a single mum. She has a young girl and a young boy. And unfortunately, the young boy was born with a very rare condition, and it means that he won't live for very long. And so I had messaged her at the beginning of this week and said, because I had noticed on Facebook, because I follow her story, that her son's health has declined. I think he's only 2 years old, maybe not even that old, and his health has declined. And so she was actually having Christmas for him last week, and I thought that was beautiful. And I was wondering if there was any other things that she, I was wondering if there was any other things that she was wanting to do with her little family to make memories. And I thought, I have a YouTube channel. We have 14,500 subscribers. And so if anybody could offer financial support, that I could fundraise for her, because even if everybody donated £1, that would be then £14,000, which we could give to her to make memories with her family, because she has been through so much. Sorry. Yeah, she's just been through so much in her life. Obviously that abuse that I went through for 2 years, she went through for her entire childhood. And then when she was finally free, she was blessed with a child. And so I had messaged her and said, let me help you raise some money to make some memories with your family. And she was over the moon. And so the plan was for me to make a video with a fundraising thing to raise money for her family. And 2 days after I had messaged that to her, she messaged me and told me about our abuser dying in prison, and that she didn't know how she felt about it, because obviously that is also her dad. And then, as if that wasn't enough, her son's health took a turn for the worse that night, and he is now fighting for his life. And we're not sure, how long he has got left. And she's just dealing with so much. Sorry, I think I'm going to need to pause the voiceover for a minute. Sorry, I'm back. I just got a bit too emotional there, and I had to pause the voiceover and have a little cry and come back, because when I am upset or crying, I struggle with talking, and so I didn't think you would be making any sense of what I was saying. So as much as this video is about telling you some of my past, it is also a plea for help, because I really want to raise that money for my friend. We obviously are not sure if her little boy will pull through to make any more memories, but even if that doesn't happen, I would like to have that money there so she at least doesn't need to worry about financial support to cover any funeral costs or just for the near future. She obviously does have her wee girl as well, and the family are just going through so much right now. So that is why I decided to release this video this week. Obviously, the original plan was for this video to be the kitchen from the house that we did last week, and don't worry, that video is coming. I will release it next week. It is ready to go. We just need to do the voiceover. But I didn't want to record this video and then it be too late to help my friend. We will also be donating our next YouTube check to the cause as well ourselves. And if anybody would like to donate anything, then I will have a GoFundMe link in the description below. And as well, I would just like to tell you a little bit about the condition that my friend's wee boy has to raise awareness of it. It is a very rare condition. And so again, I'm just going to read from my computer screen. WW0X syndrome is a rare genetic condition caused by mutations in the WW0X gene, which plays a crucial role in brain development and function. Children with this syndrome often experience severe developmental delays, epilepsy, and difficulties with motor skills, affecting their ability to walk or communicate independently. The condition also impacts muscle tone, leading to physical limitations and can cause progressive neurological decline. Unfortunately, this syndrome has a significant impact on life expectancy, with many children affected only reaching early childhood. So that's just a little bit about WW0X, and I will link a website below where you can find out more information about it, because it is such a rare condition that I had never personally heard of until my friend's wee boy was diagnosed with it. And so so this video, I'm so sorry if it has triggered anybody, but I felt it was really important to get that out there. Originally it was just going to be information about my friend wee boy's condition and explaining how any financial contributions would help the family. I really am hoping that his health will improve enough that they can follow the bucket list that my friend has made to make those memories. And if not, then I'm really glad that she got that final Christmas with him. In terms of my own past that I've shared, that is just a very small part of my past. I have been through a lot in my life, and as I said, I do not consider myself a victim. I'm very much a survivor. And so I probably will eventually talk more about my past. I obviously will not go into like graphic detail about things, but as I said, there are people alive that would be affected by my sharing some of my story, and so for that reason I will not be sharing anytime soon. However, I do plan to have this channel for a long time, and so I will probably share in future. But yeah, this isn't a very uplifting video, and I'm sorry for that, but I really hope that we can make a difference together to my friend's life. Thank you so much for watching, and for any donations that anybody does make. It is so greatly appreciated. Thank you. Bye.